Hey guys, before we get into this video, I'm going to ask that you politely search my channel and go ahead and click the subscribe button. It is my goal to obtain at least 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year 2024. I know we can do it and I appreciate your support. Now let's get into it. Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today's video we are going to be talking about what is intake orientation, because I realized I don't think I've ever told you guys what intake orientation was. So if you don't know what intake orientation is, keep watching this video. So intake orientation is a period, or really a session for lack of a better word, where you can as an interest attend a session with members of typically Divine Nine and multicultural Greek organizations to learn about the intake process as broad as possible. Like, what is the intake process basically? What are some of the expectations? Just information about the chapter members, or I'm sorry, information about the chapter or the organizations themselves. Sometimes it's a tabling event, sometimes it's a sit-down forum, sometimes you have to pay to attend. So it really depends on your university or your institution and what the requirements are, but it is a session that allows you to learn more about the Multicultural Greek and Divine Nine Greek organization intake process. And it also gives you the opportunity to meet with some of the members, casually learn more about their organizations, and also kind of help you filter out what you're most interested in joining if you don't in fact already know. So it's a great opportunity for you to, again, learn more about the organizations, but also to learn more about the people in your chapter. Are they a group of people where you feel like you'd be a good fit for the next 3 to 4 years of you being in your organization, or shorter than that if you're like a junior or senior, but helping you figure that out. Now, one of the things that I recommend before attending intake orientation is to do some research on your own. Do research on intake orientation, do research on your institution, their policies, their rules and regulations regarding intake, anti-hazing policies. Knowing all that stuff in advance is important because it helps you better understand what your university and what your organization at that institution tolerates and won't tolerate. So it's important to have that information, but it also helps you build up your questions that you're interested in asking during orientation, because sometimes if they have tabling events, you can walk up to chapter members and just ask general questions. General questions that you can ask them during intake orientation. I have a more for sure list on my channel of questions you should ask, so make sure questions you should ask, so make sure that you go check out those videos on my channel. But it's always good to just ask basic information to just have, spark conversation. Another good one that you can ask is, except for like the general stuff, is, do you guys have any upcoming events? And I think that's a really great question to ask, because it sets you up to know what that chapter is doing at your institution, when they're doing it, and gives you more opportunities to attend and get to know them a little bit better. So that is pretty much a brief explanation of what intake orientation is. It typically can occur at the beginning of the semester, of each semester of your academic year, depending on your institution's way that they do things. I know from previous knowledge they typically do it at the beginning, towards the beginning of each semester, so that people who weren't there in the fall or people who transferred in the fall can attend the ones in spring, and so on and so forth. So that's typically when it is offered. How long it lasts depends on the institution. Whether or not it's a cost depends on the institution, but it is an excellent way for you to get started. Sometimes it's required to attend before you can even do intake, and they will kind of review that information before you go into like the intake process with your specific organization. So they do have like a check-in process for all of that. So it's important to know what all those things are before you get started, so that you can know how you can move through those realms as you're starting your intake process. But that's pretty much a brief overview of what intake orientation is. I do have several videos on my channel with just some examples for you guys to look at, so I'll link those so you guys can take a look. And if you have any questions, excuse me, if you have any questions, you're always more than welcome to put them in the chat or comment box, or message me directly. And then you can always book a clarity call through my website, KelsTells.com/services as well. So hope that you guys found this video helpful. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and good luck with your intake interest.